Good evening and welcome to another lesson. Today I want to look at the post-emancipation immigrants, the ones who came to the Caribbean to work as indentured servants mostly. Post here means after, so these groups arrived after emancipation happened in 1838. And I'm sure you guys know exactly what the word emancipation actually means here. It's simple: when the enslaved population was fully freed from the system of slavery. So these people, so in 1838, first and foremost, there was a labor problem, right? There's a labor problem due to the fact that the enslaved population, which would have been Africans, they were set free. Many of them decided to leave the plantations and establish themselves as peasants. Good. Europeans they were still in the business of cultivating, or the production of sugarcane was still kind of profitable for the most part, right? So the Europeans wanted a regular supply of labor to replace or to drive down wages for the existing labor force that they had. So they started what we know today as the indentureship system. It was basically getting workers to come to the Caribbean after signing a contract. So the word contract here, you know already, it means an agreement. So the term indentureship, just going over it, simple: getting workers to come to the Caribbean after signing a contract. All right? And most of these workers came from India, and not really mainland China, but many of them who came were actually Chinese. Now the question is, what happened after the contract ended? They were given several options. For example, they could either return home or they had the option of settling here in the Caribbean. Next question I want us to look at: where did the East Indians come from? As I mentioned before on the first slide, they came from India. And we know India is on the continent of Asia. Following the same pattern, we want to know when the East Indians arrived in the Caribbean. And they came, let's deal with Jamaica, seeing that we live in Jamaica and the exam is Jamaican based. They first came to Jamaica in around 1845. Please note, if you were to travel to Guyana or Trinidad today, you would notice that a large portion of the population is of East Indian descent. This is because those two countries received the most East Indians during the period of indentureship throughout the entire Caribbean. Good? So, important thing to take away from here: the East Indians arrived in Jamaica in 1845. So if you notice, I am stressing, I'm pointing out, I'm highlighting the year, different years of arrival. Example, when the Europeans came, the Taínos, the Africans, the British, because you will be required to create a timeline to show the arrival of each group. Now we need to look at, again, following the same pattern, why the East Indians came to the Caribbean. One push factor, as in something which forced them to leave India, would have been the caste system. The caste system in its simplest form was a way of grouping people unfairly, you could say, and persons could not move from one group to the next group. For example, in Jamaica, you could have the upper class, middle class, and the lower class. But in India, the caste system was much more rigid, and many persons, if you notice down here, this person on the ground right here, a group, they were known as the untouchables. This group, they were treated in such a way that many of them were forced, and many of them did not want to remain in that condition. They were not allowed to live in the main city. They could not drink from the well. They had to wear a special type of clothing. They were assigned the task that nobody else in society would do, like cleaning the toilets, cleaning the drains. So these people were, as the name suggests, they were untouchables. No other caste, whether that be the Brahmins, and so they would not really relate to these people. Even when the untouchables were coming into the market, they would ring a bell and then person would step aside and allow them to pass. That's how they were treated. So this was a push factor which forced the East Indians to come here. Other push factors, remember push factors would have been conditions which actually will force you to leave a particular place. And you know, the opposite of push factor would definitely be a pull factor, one that will attract you or pull you to a particular place. Other push factors include droughts, low wages, and heavy taxation, among others. So these were all reasons why the East Indians came to the Caribbean. Even though they were needed to work, factors in India made it possible for them to come here. Just as I explained a while ago, pull factors, conditions which will attract. So look out for your teacher. The teacher will give you a table for you to complete, and the table will highlight push and pull factors, and more than likely you will be required to group them. So I need not go over push or pull factors anymore. Pull would definitely be the opposite of push. So let's use Jamaica for example. A push factor for Jamaicans, you know how many Jamaicans migrate, would be the high level of crime. A pull factor in another country could be low levels of crime. Good? Can I move on now? I think you are right here. Following. Contribution that the East Indians would have made to Jamaica and the Caribbean. Curry is an obvious contribution. The roti, which is enjoyed by many Jamaicans, and you'll see many of these when you go to like an Indian-owned restaurant. These are staples on the menu. You will see these on the menu a lot, and many Jamaicans enjoy curry today. But you must also remember where curry is coming from. It's a contribution of the East Indians. Other contribution, you know, the food now, mangoes. Oh, come on, name me a mango. Time's up. I am sure that you were thinking of East Indian mango a while ago. There you go. I think in Jamaica we call one Bombay or something like that. A place in India is called Bombay. So mangoes would have been a contribution of the East Indians. Tamarind, jackfruit, chocho, these that we all enjoy today, all of them came from India. Direct contributions of the Indians or the East Indians. Corrected myself there. Another contribution would be the Diwali, and some books will give you D-I-W-A-L-I, D-I-W-A-L-I, the same thing. What you should take away from here is that this is known as the Festival of Lights. I'm sure you would figure by now that in countries like Guyana and Trinidad, you would see more persons celebrating Diwali due to the fact that you have more persons of East Indian descent there than in Jamaica. So that is also another contribution. And I should have mentioned Diwali would have been a Hindu festival. Other festivals that they celebrate would be Hosei and Idul Fitr, forgive my pronunciation, right? So these are all festivals brought to the Caribbean by the East Indians. Religion now. I mentioned Diwali a while ago about it's a Hindu festival. So I guess you can make the connection and say that the East Indians brought Hinduism to the Caribbean. Not that popular in Jamaica, but again, you know, the two countries in the Caribbean where you can find a lot of persons practicing this particular faith. So the East Indians introduced us to Hinduism. Another religion, many persons would say Islam, but recent historians, they have presented evidence to show that the religion of Islam actually came here with the Africans from back in slavery. In terms of dress now, the Indians, the sari is a traditional Indian wear. And the turban that they would use, like persons who are of a Sikh faith and even some Muslims as well, I think, would wear the turban. So these were all contributions made directly to the Caribbean, to Jamaica, by the East Indians. So just to go over the entire lesson, remember, East Indians came here due to the fact that there was something called an indentureship system. They signed a contract, maybe about 4 to 5 years. It would keep them here. Many of the East Indians who came here, they were forced because of drought. Many of them came here because of the caste system. Contributions made in terms of food, curry, come on, tamarind, jackfruit, in terms of dress, sari, in terms of religion, Hinduism, in terms of festivals, you can also think of the Diwali and so forth. But that concludes my lesson for the East Indians. I will present on the coming of the Chinese because they were the two main groups who came here after emancipation. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a wonderful evening.